What's up? What's up? What's up? Stay wokers. Okay, it is late. It is late. This is the business. We are introducing two more candidates tonight. This is your girl Chantella Wallace, the co-host of the hottest podcast in the Midwest. You already know. Before you go to sleep, you got to do what? Blah blah blah. Stay woke. This is the only podcast that shouts you out in real time. I said real time, and also answer questions in real time. There are no questions we will not ask on this platform. So last week I was at the debate. There were some very interesting candidates, some candidates that did really, really well. I'll say most of the candidates did well. I'm not going to say anyone did bad. There were some people that this is really not their lane. Some people getting into the race for the wrong reasons. But hey, it's gonna be like that no matter. Excuse me, that big old bird. It's going to be like that no matter where you're at. So I want to introduce you to two candidates this evening. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Mike Lee. Mr. Mike Lee is one of the youngest candidates. There were two candidates under the age of 30, Mike Lee and Maurice Jones. So I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Mike Lee. Give me a moment, please.
Mr. Lee.
I have to second and echo Mr. Gray here. Thank you all for putting this event on. It was great to be able to have this event hosted by young people. 5 years ago, I started this journey on getting out into my community, coming back and wanting to do political organizing. I worked for Senator McKinney, ran his first campaign, and now we see what youth leadership looks like. And so for me, this is just a continuation of the work that I constantly do. I want to make sure that when we talk about North Omaha, that we're investing and making intentional investments. That when we build and create affordable housing, we're doing it intentionally. I want to talk and invest into our youth because they need spaces and safe spaces that they can go and entertain themselves. So for me, this is just something that is constant of what I'm doing already now. And so my name is Mike Lee. I'm running for Omaha City Council here in North Omaha.
What's up, Shifty with the Blick?
April 1st.
Okay, that's Mike Lee. I believe Mike Lee is 29 years old, one of two candidates that's under the age of 30. So I'm glad to see that we have young blood. In the race. I'm going to give you one of the responses Mr. Lee had. This is just to get to know the candidates, and we're going to have a larger platform on tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in at 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on Stay Woke, where we will allow the candidates to have more than 1 minute. When you're in a debate, the time is limited. So we're going to have the candidates where they can have more than 1 minute to actually respond to something, where they can actually tell people, basically what they're interested in doing or what they will bring to the platform. This is one of Mr. Lee's rebuttals on the homeless. My mama show is talking loud. No, that's not it. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so I messed up the order that I was going in. So let me just take this one out. So now let me get this reset. I'm getting this reset. I'm going to show you one of Mike Lee's rebuttals. I was impressed with him. One, because he's young, and two, because he is like he is like very in tune with the people. And that's one of the things that I think that's going to get whomever the candidate is across the line is being in tune with the people. If you're not in tune with the people, they're not going to relate to you. You know, it's as simple as that. They're not going to relate to you. So, so give me a moment. Let me cue this up. I don't want to. I've been moving it all around, and it's been loading, taking forever to load. So give me a second, and I'll give you Mr. Lee's rebuttal. I'll let you guys listen to Ben Gray's rebuttal also.
Down 70 going down Ames one way or going down Ames another way with nothing in the middle. Now you have something in the middle. North Star the same way. We wanted to create a boys club for boys to be boys. And so we created that atmosphere and we created that building and those grounds so that these young people, especially young Black boys, can go somewhere to learn how to be boys. Some of the things that we've continued to do in this area surround what we've done through the Empowerment Network and others, because we have created significant numbers of jobs. We've created significant.
This is candidate Ben Gray
businesses and
talking about the things that he's done.
Over $2.5 billion have been added to the North Omaha community. So
candidate Gray is talking about the billions of dollars and the millions of dollars he bought through the community, that he bought Walmart here. And as he said that there was, we didn't have a big grocery store. And it used to be that Walmart stayed open 24 hours a day before COVID. So this was huge. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy as hell. I live like 2 minutes away from Walmart. So I was happy as hell. I'll go ahead and let Mr. Gray finish. But yeah, that's one of the things. And also North Star.
So with those numbers, we can continue to grow and continue to do the things that we have done. And we've got an organization that can do it. Thank you all.
Okay, so now this is Mike Lee, one of the youngest kids. I want you guys to pay attention to Mr. Lee. I think he helped Ashley Spivey with her campaign, Terrell McKinney, if I'm not mistaken. But this guy has a future in politics.
So some of the first things that we could do, that we're willing to do, is to create a North Omaha economic plan. The same thing that the city is doing with Blackstone and the Urban Core Development Plan, right? We need to be intentional about the investments that we do, right? And so I completely disagree with Councilman Gray, right? I don't think that we can continue to do the same things that we've been doing because they don't work, right? And so while we're talking about $2.5 billion,
the young two came after him.
While we talk about $2.5 billion supposedly being invested into this community, you, the people, probably don't feel it. Mm-hmm. You probably don't see it. Mm-hmm. And so I can only say that when economic development goes wrong, when it makes Chubb's close down, when it tells you that that you're supposed to be doing good and your streets are fine and we're bringing in businesses, yet that business also employs more people on Medicaid and food stamps than any other employer in the country, what are we talking about? Right? And so for me, it's about building intentional economic development that works for the community. When I talk about being a public servant, it's about being a servant to you, the public.
Go on, Brother Lee.
So I just want to make sure that we talk about the facts.
Okay, honey. Mike Lee had a little Martin Luther King on his tip on that one. So Brother Lee, Shiffy with the blah blah blicky is in here. How you doing, daughter? Brother Lee is one of the youngest candidates. It was 2 candidates under the age of 30. I want to introduce you to okay, his rebuttal is okay. Is it ready? Girl, that's still loading. I'm over it. So I'm going to introduce you. I have a clip. I did a screen share. I'm going to introduce you to Anthony Rogers Wright. Now, this young man, he's not from Nebraska. I believe he's from the East Coast. I think somebody said New York or somewhere around that area. But he was very, very smart. He was quick with his answers. He articulated extremely well. So I'm going to introduce you to him. Unfortunately, his rebuttal video didn't upload, so I'll be introducing Miss Weston to you guys. She says save the best for last at the debate, so I'm gonna follow suit on that. So give me one moment. Let me cue up Mr. Here we go. Here. Nope, that is not it. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to add it from here. So Mr. Anthony Rogers Wright, I've been getting so many inboxes ever since I put him as one of the top 4 candidates. The people have been on my neck, but y'all know we answer questions here. So if anybody have any questions they want to ask the candidates, of course, we may not get to all of the questions because sometimes we have 300 questions at the end of a show. But I do want to introduce you guys to Anthony. So give me one moment. I'm going to have to do it from here. For whatever reason, it didn't upload there. It didn't refresh, but it's in my system. So give me a second. Let me get Mr. Anthony. I mean, the way he breaks shit down, though.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Wright.
Thank you. Thank you to y'all again for putting this on. My name is Anthony Rogers Wright. The slogan that we chose for this campaign is against the current together for 2 reasons: to pay homage to the original people of these lands known as Omaha, and to send the message that we can no longer go with the current to get the transformative change that we need. We have to go against the current lawmakers, more accountable to corporations, certain foundations, and developers than they are to the people. And yes, that means we have to go against the current of the poverty pimps in this community who are using.
Okay, watch how he keeps saying the current. Go against the current. Go against the current. Basically, go against the grain. Go against the norms. Check them out.
Take the people's money and turn it into money for certain people. And we have to go against the current of unaccountable police that dehumanize our children, our elders, and everyone, even though they enjoy a bloated budget, and instead add to the issue of mass incarceration. And we have to go against the current that ignores environmental racism, including that OPPD power plant and a quintessential threat to all of our communities, climate change. Against the current reminds us of the benevolent soul who was walking along the river one day and saw somebody drowning. So he saved them. And then he saw another person drowning and he saved them too. And more people were coming down the river and drowning. So finally he started running up the street. And the people said, "Where are you going?" He said, "To find out why people are falling in the water in the first place." That's what going against the current means, getting to the source and the root causes of our problems, rather than using punchlines and other types of buzzwords to get us away from our problems. It's time to come together. It's time to stop going with the flow. It's time to go against the current. I hope I can count on your vote on this journey. Thank you.
Okay, he kind of killed his opening. Going against the current, going against the grain, going against the wave. So I don't have his rebuttal. I don't know why it's still just, I've had it ready and I took it back like a minute. But anyway, I will have his rebuttal on. I will do him and Miss Weston's. I will introduce you guys to Miss Weston. Miss Weston, she was the last candidate. It was 2 females on the panel. I thought both of the females did a great job. And the thing is, some people are talking about Miss Goodwin. She's angry. She's rude. When men answer, it was some angriness spewed out from the guys, the fellas. Nobody said anything about that. But when women do it, we're always an angry Black woman or they're so emotional. But when men do it, it's just like, oh yeah, he got in his ass. But anyway, I thought both of these women did a good job. And I will be honest, I think Miss Wesson has the most compassion, her and Mr. Uri. As far as compassion, I thought Mike Lee was very, very compassionate, even though Brother Anthony Wright was definitely, as far as coming with facts and state statutes, laws, policies, he killed it. Ms. Goodwin also killed it. And that's not always what the voters want in a candidate. So I'm giving the candidates a chance. And I hope y'all ain't running from Mr. Wright, because y'all always gung-ho about getting on here. And now everybody got something to do. But if Mr. Wright is the only candidate on here, he will have the floor. he will have our attention, and that will speak volumes. So anyway, I'm looking forward to having a Fab Five. That's Ben Gray. Drum roll, please. Lavani Goodwin, Mike Lee, Mr. Wright, Anthony Rogers Wright, and last but not least, as she stated, save the best for last, Sister Wesson. On tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Get to know the candidates. They get more than 1.5 minutes to talk about something that they are passionate about and something that they want to do for their constituents. Y'all already know what time it is. This is the hottest podcast in the Midwest, the only podcast that shouts you out in real time and answer questions during the show. You already know what time it is. Before you go to sleep, you got to do what? Blah, blah, blah. Stay woke.